What is up, my fellow jackasses? I hope everybody's having a great freaking day. I hope everybody had a great weekend and a great Easter weekend. Some of us had to work, but hey, that's what I get for working two jobs, right? I mean, especially at Menards. I mean, who wants to spend home or time at home during Easter when you can go throw 150 bags of mulch, right? I mean, that's so much more fun. Plus, damn Easter Bunny didn't even get me nothing but some fucking Reese cup eggs. But anyways, I hope everybody's doing good. Just a couple announcements. Got to wish some people happy birthday and happy belated birthday to my buddy Andy Blackburn, who was my squad leader and section sergeant when I was in the military. Um, just want to say happy birthday to you, brother. Hope you're doing good. Um, Happy belated birthday to my nephew Doug. I know he's not going to see this, but I love you and I miss you. I know you're doing okay down there in Florida, so I hope you are. So, yeah, happy birthday. Um, Another happy belated birthday to the pain in my butt, Eileen Jones. Um, she's a pain in my butt. She'll tell you she's the OG Wilson, but I am the OG Wilson. And of course, I have to say a happy, very, very belated birthday to my mom for giving birth to a legend like myself. I appreciate that. That you had sex with dad and brought me in. So yeah. But anyways, I hope everybody's doing good. And without, I'm excited about tonight's show. Um, this lady's amazing. She's funny as hell, dude. Um, just remember, people, in C17 show. So if you don't like it, sorry about your luck. This is the Paranormal Jackass. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on Robyn Sweetroll Ramsey.
Well,
What is
hello.
up? Woo!
I'm just laughing at your intro. That's great. And when you said, "Dad, like thanks for having sex with mom" or whatever you just said, I just flashed back to like walking past my parents' bedroom, and I was a kid going, "Why? What is that?"
Dude, that is nothing. When I was like, I don't know, 5 years old, I guess I jumped on my dad's back. I was like, "Giddy up, daddy!" Or like four, "Giddy up, giddy up!" And him and my mom and we're going at it. I'm like, "Giddy up!" And my
Oh
mom's
my
like, I covered my face, and she's like, "Don't stop!" And he's like, I can't. I'm almost done."
God.
I'm
And
just like,
welcome to your therapy
yeah,
session.
bro.
Oh,
Welcome to.
now, how do you keep that out of your head? That now it's keep it out, keep it
And
away.
there's just no way. There's just no way
There's no
you can
way.
keep stuff like that. So
Nope,
yeah.
not at
Hi
all.
Irene. Hi Emmy and Natalie. Wow. Hi Dawn. Yeah. See,
There we go.
man.
Hi, Irene. Now I can see. I couldn't see the comments at first, but now I can. Yay. Hi, everybody.
Oh, I was baking cookies and
Hello.
decorating Easter eggs for the neighbor kids. That's awesome. That is awesome. Oh, another
Nice.
great dude, Philip. That's my man right there. We'd be chopping
Yep. I've
trees
had a
down,
chance to
bro.
talk to him before, and
He's such a good dude, man. He really is.
super
So,
excited.
what's new with you, man? Let me in on.
What's new is I feel really good, right? I got,
Good.
like not to bring anything down. I got really sick really fast and sudden and ended up having two major surgeries that I did not expect, but now I feel even better. You know how you don't know how bad you feel until you feel better? And I'm like,
Yes.
oh crap, like I feel fantastic and I'm ready to hit the paranormal runway again. And I've got a lot of stuff lined up. I mean, as much as I can handle at the moment, and I'm super excited about it. And so all of that junk that happened to me, like at first I was like, oh, I'm not a pitiful me. And like, oh, why me? I'm
Right.
very dramatic, but I could, why me? But now I see that it happened at the time it did because I had all this great stuff. It was clearing the way so that
Right.
some of this nonsense didn't happen in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, in the dark, in an old, some building somewhere.
Oh,
It's
dude,
out
that
of
would
the
have
way,
been horrible.
ready to go, and I feel fantastic.
That is
Fantastic.
that is awesome. That's that's what's important. And you better be nice, Eileen, because I even wished you a happy birthday on at the beginning. So yeah, and I'm glad you're about to see your brother David. I know he probably isn't happy about it, but I'm glad you are. At least, you know.
I don't know the scenario, but that's funny. He's probably not happy about it.
No, no. they're David's a good guy, and Eileen is just whether she believes it or not, she's a good person. Well, wait,
Oh.
maybe it's whether I believe it or not. Nah, I don't
Now I'm
believe it
gonna have to look
anyway.
into this, Eileen.
So you got sick, you had surgery, you bounced back,
Did.
and I've noticed, like, I was, and I knew stuff about you, but you're an author, 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 author. You write
Hmm.
bookie.
Like I'm an author and
An
I'm
author.
Arthur. No, just joking. That's not.
See,
Yes, I am. Yeah, I have. I write a lot. I
yeah,
feel like very prolific. But I have published a book on astral projection, and it's actually had its 10-year anniversary recently. I was shocked because I didn't age, but the book did. That's weird, right? But and the
right.
co-writer Melissa Burke and I had kept saying, we need to put out, the next it's a book for beginners. It's a non-religious guide. Can you believe it? To astral projection, kind of like how do you get
Oh,
there, and what we thought about the ethics of it, and methodology. And we're both certified hypnotherapists, and so we at the time it may still be up on Amazon like this. If you write, I said you can do that with your email, Melissa. And I said if you write her, then you can get a free hypnotherapy session that kind of helps you get into that mode where you can learn how to jump and separate and do that sort of thing. But yes, I do write a lot.
dang, that is awesome. I mean, to even write a book like that of astral projecting would be an out of body experience.
It would, and it was, especially sometimes we would write for like 8 hours together, like on a Zoom or whatever it used to be called back in the day.
Right.
And yeah, after eight, we would do these sessions, and of course we had to laugh, and then the last 4 hours would be wine drinking and saying the word penis, and then and laughing, and then we managed to somehow get a book written. Although I have updated it, and I haven't put the new one out yet, but there is an updated version that will be out probably within, like, I'm just going to say a loose 6-month period, just because I
Right.
got so much stuff going on.
Dude, that is awesome. Emmy says she needs that book for her son. So
Oh,
yeah.
well, friend me, and I'll send you the corrected, updated PDF. I don't mind.
See, there you go, Emmy. Hook her up.
Yep.
Or hook it up.
Hooker?
See,
Hooker? What? That's
hook her
fine.
up.
Project too.
Up and down. It don't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, seriously though, like Facebook. Literally, my name, Robyn Sweetroll Ramsey. Boom.
So why don't you have your own podcast show? I'm just curious. I know you, besides being sick.
Okay, this is like a bigger answer than you probably think it's going to be. And that's because back before Facebook, you used to have to go to a destination website to listen to radio.
Right.
I owned a radio station, an internet radio station, and I really hesitate to say the name because someone bought the name and they use it for something I totally disagree with. So I really don't even want to say the name of what it was, but it was a 24-hour radio station, right? And so I had a bunch of shows on there, and in between we played music, and there was not just paranormal, there was a lot of different genres of shows on there, but I had a couple of shows myself, and then I produced several other shows, and I would like to say that I'm satiated. Done that.
Right.
And and then the last show that I had, I went to comedy with my co-writer of the astral projection book, Melissa, and we had a show called The Mighty Variety Show with Moo and Sweetroll. And it's funny because people, and that's been off the air for probably 8 years, and people still ask for it to come back. And I'm like, I don't think people understand how much work goes into some of these shows that we do, and I'm sure because you're doing it, you're living it, and depending on what you're writing or who you're interviewing or your subject matter, it can be a lot of work. And I think after owning the station and dealing with everybody's problems all the time, getting people on the air, because back then you had to have a mixer and you had to have all this stuff. Listen, so I love, sometimes I'll guest host some people. There you go. So you're doing it right.
Yes. So
Yeah. Sometimes I'll guest host with other shows. Sometimes I do enjoy being a guest, but there's something magical about going, okay, bye. Just
Yeah.
close your computer and walking away.
And yes, I mean, I do a little bit of research. Like I said, I a little bit on you, but for the most part, I just wing it because I want the different questions, the odd questions, you
Yes.
know, like the ones we talked about behind the scene,
Mhm.
you know, because otherwise it's the same kind of boring paranormal podcast,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. And I'm
Whereas
glad that
with
you do it that way. It's the same thing as people going in a building, and it
yeah,
really, I'll start twitching when I hear, "What's your name? How'd you die? Are you mad? Are you sad?" Hmm?
yeah,
And I'm just
uh,
like,
you know, and a lot of what's your favorite place to investigate? Oh, what's
yeah,
your favorite kind of equipment?
yeah.
No, I don't want, if you want to tell me what your favorite place is and what your favorite piece of equipment is, by all means,
Mhm.
do that. What's the craziest thing you did at investigation? That's what I want to know, which I already
That's
know,
what I
and I'm
told
not
you
gonna,
before. Yeah,
and that is great, dude. That is so awesome.
yeah.
That is so awesome, man. I'm telling you what.
Yeah. So I'm sure I'll do it again too because I'm like that. But um but like so I'll speaking of equipment, I do some a little bit of inventing
You
my own equipment,
do.
and I build equipment, and the first question people say is, "Are you going to sell it? What are you going to do with it, or whatever?" And I feel like it's a letdown for people when I say it's for my own information. It's
Yes.
for my own information because I'm one of those people that a long time ago I said, I'm not proving anything to anyone because this is one of those things that you really have to experience for a
Yep.
true belief. There's always doubt. You can doubt my equipment. It's pretty easy to fake stuff. And
Yep.
I'd like to talk, if you can remember to ask me about me faking pictures for a lecture and the letdown on the people's faces when I told them they were all faked. I may not remember, but anyway, um, I just forgot what I was saying. But yeah, no, I make my own equipment and stuff. And people, I just don't feel like I can prove anything to anybody. And they're like, well, why do you put on all of this work to make your own equipment and you're not selling it and you're not out there hustling, or trying to prove things to people? Because it's really for my own information. It's to dig deeper and to find out more about these people or entities in general that have passed.
Yep.
I want to have conversations with them. I want to talk to them about different things other than, are you trapped here? Are you in a vortex? Whatever people ask that is crazy. But yeah, it takes hundreds of hours sometimes. And I enlist my husband in that. He can write software for that, and he's really good at manipulating the 3D printer and stuff like that. So
Dang.
yeah, I do that. Do that.
So would you say is it easier to make stuff with the 3D printer to do like
Um,
paranormal equipment?
Well, in a way, if you have something that doesn't fit, and I will put things in if the box is ready and I need it to do something, I'll make shift something like that. But now that 3D printers are around and he's really good at it, he can just go, oh yeah, I got this for you. I can even put your little name on there. I can do this or that. And so I'm like, go for it, knock it out. Start the printer. I'm really happy with that. It looks a little nicer, and holds together a little better.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I thought about, man, I think it would be cool to buy a 3D printer and be able to make something like my son Aiden wants the music box. And I thought, man,
Easy.
that would
Not
be cool.
Yeah. I
To
mean the motion sensor.
yes, to
Yeah.
make it and somehow, but I personally, I mean, he would have to do it because I'm not that smart. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It's not okay. So a lot of these items, you can go on your favorite big website and order kits to make these things, right? So once again, back in the day, I started off a long time ago just making my own stuff because it wasn't readily available. But
Right.
when I first started doing this, and so I would just start soldering things together and making little things. But anyway, you can get motion sensors, like, well, there's lights and all that are everywhere.
Right.
But if you want just a little tiny thing to put in a device like that, they're maybe $3 or $4 on,
Really?
and not on like Amazon, I guess I can name, but like go to like Mouser, that's like an electronics website. I mean, they sell these little boards and everything, and they're literally ready to plug and play. You point two LEDs at each other and something breaks that, it'll beep, or you can point it out into the air and something walks by. And so basically you could take, I used to love to take Altoids cans. So you take an Altoid can and
Right.
you drill a hole in there and you put the LED through there and it'll house your stuff really easily. And you have it, does it have to look in the shape of an old coffin? I don't know about that. You can fit
Right.
music boxes, you can fit motion sensors in all kinds of things, but.
Dude, that is awesome. See, she's very smart. This lady could probably teach us a thing or two about making stuff. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, you're brilliant, man. I mean,
Well, and the other thing is, since we're on the equipment, since we're talking about equipment, a lot of the stuff that is for sale now, it's interesting and it looks cool, but a lot of it is the same thing, repackaged. Okay, they're sensors that, okay, so EMF field gets interrupted, it's going to beep, it's going to, and some of them add like a temperature sensor or that sort of thing, which is fantastic. But, if you have one or two of these, for me, I advocate that you don't need all of them,
Right.
Unless you just like putting stuff everywhere and spending a ton of money. If you crack them open, they're all pretty much the same thing. And basically they are the same thing, all the EMF things and things that go beep and ping and all of that stuff. It's good for excitement. Like if you feel like you go into a location and you don't get that much feedback and there's not a bunch of banging around and knocking and footsteps and voices and that sort of thing, a beep. I'll take a beep every now and then. I'll take a beep. Can anybody there?
Yeah.
Beep it, beep. Oh my God. It can be exciting and it can give you the feedback. And maybe they aren't able or willing for whatever reason to knock on the wall or do the other stuff. Maybe they can walk past your device and make a light come on or beep. That's fantastic. But anyway, save your money. Don't buy 5 of the same thing. That's what I'm saying. And I don't want to name any names because it's all very, very similar, and
Right.
and sometimes I will have people ask me before or something new. So I know a few people in the field that people will give stuff. I just invented this, try it, take it to your location. And then, because they're looking for endorsements, right?
Right. Yep.
So I had a friend give me something and said, I really want to know what you think of this. And so I said, okay, cracked it open, literally cracked it open. And it was nothing but a wire taped to a piece of metal. And they wanted good money for this. And this is junk. It's junk, and I really don't want to say what it is because it's still out there and for sale. And I don't want to put it down or hurt someone.
No, right. No.
But I'm like, this is something you could just do by sticking your finger in a light socket.
So Emmy says, can I have that website again, please? Was it Mouser?
Oh, Mouser. Well, that's a bunch of electronics. Mouser. There's a couple others. I'm drawing a blank, but Mouser is a good one. I think it's based out of, is that the one based out of Austin? I'm not sure. Mouser, Mouscr.
There you go, Emmy. Mouser.
Yeah. And just look up kits, whatever you like, whatever you think you want, kit after it, and see what you can find. If you know how to solder, teach yourself how to solder. It's not that difficult. It can be painful to learn, but it's not.
Yeah, soldering is not too bad.
Yeah.
Hey, Parasolo, how you doing, brother, man? I hope you're doing good, brother. So here's my big question, and I hope you all like this one. So a little bird that I found out lived in Waco, Texas. Wow. So my friend Robyn here lived in Waco, Texas.
I did.
During the siege, right?
During the Branch Davidian siege.
Yeah, but I had to absolutely be crazy.
It was incredible. I had actually, the day after I turned 18, if you can imagine this, I moved from Waco to Austin, Texas. Okay, so I was maybe, barely 18, 19 years old. And I was in Waco, but I had lived there for several years prior to that. And my boyfriend at the time had grown up in Waco. And so we knew that some things had been going on. Obviously, it was on the news a lot. And we were in Waco the day that it actually caught on fire, that the Branch Davidian. So you could go out on some back roads behind the old boys ranch, if that makes sense to anybody who's maybe from the area, you might understand. Anyway, so we went on, he took me on all these wonderful back roads. He was so good at that. And we were able to go past where a lot of the roads were cut off by sheriffs and other law enforcement, that sort of thing. And we ended up just on a hillside about a mile or so from the Branch Davidian house. And we watched it started smoking, and then we watched the actual flames. And at first there is, I don't want to seem like a jerk or whatever, there's a sense of excitement, like, oh my God, it's on fire. Oh my God, it's on fire, you know, and you have to remember, right, I'm a child basically. But about 10 or 15 minutes into after you see the actual flames, a heavy curtain comes down on you and you realize there's people dying right now. There are people dying. And little did we know that they had already been, right. With and that sort of thing. But so I was there pretty much the whole time. You know, there was a point where we just said, I think it's bad taste, like we should just leave at this point, you know, it's time to go. But it was just a big deal. Everybody talked about it at all times in Waco, and there were billboards up in Waco from the ATF that said, thank you, Waco. ATF. I don't know why they spent money on those billboards. Thank you for like hosting us and, you know, letting us eat at your restaurants and your hotels and that sort of thing. There was, I'll never ever forget that. And I still have a couple of David Koresh t-shirts, you know, that's he was okay. So he was kind of in the scene, like in the bar band scene. Now his but he was, and somewhere in an old purse somewhere, I know I still have to have it. It's a card, his card, and it had a guitar on it and his name. And if he liked your band, he would say, you can come record out, you know, at my compound. I have a recording studio and that sort of thing. So big deal, but we didn't know what was actually going on out there. This was, you know, months prior to, you know, we didn't know that he was doing meth and staying up all night and preaching and that sort of thing.
You know, what's crazy is I actually, his drummer, David Thibodeau, me and him are actually friends on Facebook.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. And so it's really weird, but no, I remember that part. It's, you know, Dave Thibodeau, he's talked about that part where David Koresh would come in to the bar and stuff, and that's where he was actually playing at when he got like, come on out.
Yeah, he allowed himself some freedoms that he did not allow his followers. That's for certain. And I always wondered, I went to school with one of another kid or whatever, this guy whose family was part of that. And he never spoke about it. We had no idea. Hilarious, funny person. And evidently he was not there that day that happened. Thank goodness. He's living. And And so we were all really shocked. We were like, he's a Branch Davidian, and we were corrected, like, no, his parents were, and he was kind of forced into the situation, you know? Right. Yeah. So it was definitely a cult. It was definitely serious. And there are still Branch Davidians out there right now. Right. Yeah.
And I don't know if Thibodeau still is or not, but I know he still talks about it, and, you know, he'll reminisce about it and post stuff every now and again. So I say hey to my buddy, my mentor, Chris Daniel. What's up, brother, man? Hope you're doing good. May 5th, man. We're getting close. So now you're independent investigating. So I am. I'm gonna ask you, where's the one place you want to go? I do want to know. Where's the one place you absolutely want to go?
It's gonna be a letdown answer, but a place that nobody else has ever been. can't with the big places. I will definitely go now. I love there's some big prisons that people go to on a regular basis and that sort of thing. I really enjoy going to prison. That's what I was going to say. Knock
I'm
on wood.
sure
No,
you
no,
do.
that's not what I meant, universe. At any given moment, they're going to be knocking on the door. No, but basically, just places where I really try to find places where very few people or nobody has ever been. And if I could find, but it's so paranormal investigators are everywhere now, and
They
every
are.
city, every town, every village has their group, and they
Yep.
own that town, and they own the local places, and it's just really tough to find anything new. And I think that one of the best ways to find new is to travel as far away from as you can, and possibly even abroad, and in some of the smaller places. And for me, evidently, my neighbors' houses, I've become that lady in the neighborhood that people come to. And I didn't realize that it happened where the neighbors came over and said, "We need you to come with us right now." And I was like, "What are we doing?" There was an issue down the street. So, that sort of thing. So my answer is someplace that no one's ever been.
No, and that's awesome. Like I like going to the big places that you see other popular teams go to, but I'm the
Mhm.
same way. I want to go. I would love to go somewhere where no one or very few people have been to, just to see how different it would be and what kind, as far as like the interaction. It's,
Yes.
you know,
Mhm.
that to me that would be absolutely cool because it's just
Yeah. I feel we talk about respect when we go into locations. And I am not saying anything negative about these big locations that people go to every night and rent out and that sort of thing. There's a lot of good reasons to do that. And most of it is preservation and history and that sort of thing.
yep,
Building preservation, I'm very much into that. Okay. So I want to preface by that. But if we come in and we want to deal with respect with these spirits and these entities, and we're just driving people through, cattle driving them through, all the time
yeah,
asking the same questions, I would start pushing people downstairs. I'm like,
right.
oh my God, if you ask me if I'm sad one more time, if one person, the first person
Just
that says, "How did you die?" I'm pushing them down the damn stairs.
that motherfucker's going down.
That's right. He's
Dude,
going down.
no, it is. And like me and my buddy Chris and my son Aiden and his friend Noah actually 2 weeks ago went to Pinhurst, dude. And first, such an amazing place. Oh my God, it's so amazing. But you get in there and because it's when you look at it per square feet, it's bigger, maybe a little bit bigger than what Waverly Hills is.
Mhm.
So you pull up and there's like 7 buildings there. You're going, holy,
Yeah.
like, what did I get myself into? I mean, we only got like 3 or 4 buildings, but still, man,
Mhm.
uh, you're going and, but the hardest thing is I felt like I was asking the same questions over and over and over and over. And I hate that.
Sometimes you do. And even, I complain about it and I'm talking about it, but it happens, I do it too, because sometimes it's relevant, so it seems natural, but when
Yeah.
you just get stuck with the same 5 questions. And but speaking of prisons, I went to, is it Mansfield Reformatory, the Ohio State Penitentiary with
Yeah.
Ashley
Yeah.
Moreno. I saw her and chat with her and a big group of people. It's phenomenal.
Who'd you go with
It was
or chat
Ashley
with?
Moreno. I think she is in the chat somewhere.
Yeah. Actually, yes. She
Yeah.
said your equipment is absolutely amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
Robin's equipment is incredible.
Thank you. And any chance I get to work with Ashley, I absolutely do, or investigate or anything like that. And what's exciting for me about being up here is, most of my time was spent in the South. So I move up I'm in the Northeast now. So now I get the opportunity to be a little bit closer to all of these other places that I did
Right.
not get to go. So, everybody's like, "Oh, I'm from Ohio. I'm from Indiana, and I've gone XYZ. Have you ever been?" I say no. And they go, "No, but you've been in the field for X a lot of time, many, many years." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I was in the South. I was stationed in the South and the
Right.
Southeast, that sort of thing." So like we talk about New Orleans and stuff like
New
Nolens and stuff
Orleans
like that.
and
Yes. When
yeah.
you mentioned Fear Fest and New Orleans, I was like, I would absolutely love to go. It's been quite a bit of time since I've been.
Yeah. And by the way, Ashley says hi, but
Hi.
I can't wait. I've never been to New Orleans, and dude. Yeah, right. Me
Mhm.
in that town, that's going to be trouble.
Yeah.
Just because
Well,
I'm crazy. I'm crazy like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it can be a lot. It can be a lot of fun. And one time, I used to drive there from Austin all the time, and I would go, and it got to the point where I love the city so much, but I would just ride the ferry. You can just sit, or at least the last time I went, you still could just sit along the side on the rails, and I had my feet hanging over the side, and the muddy water splashing. It just, to me, it gets into my soul. And I just went back and forth, and I collect some mud, take it home. I would buy true, like real mud, voodoo dolls and stuff. Not, and not
right,
all of it, just because it's on the main areas doesn't mean that it's fake or anything like that.
right.
There are very real things going on there. And I just grew to love that city so much. And so when you mentioned Fear Fest, I thought, wow, that's my call. Ding ding, it's time to
Yeah,
go.
dude. I mean, I believe there's ticket sales are going on now, and man, there's just going to be so much going on there. Um, like a real voodoo priestess is going to
Yeah,
be there, and there's
see it. I
like,
have a tattoo down my arm that says, "Why does the blood stick to your teeth?" And that is voodoo oriented. People ask you, "What does that mean?" Well, what does that mean? I'm like, you want to find out? Do you really want
I'm
to
a
find out?
vamp. I'm a werewolf. I'm about ready to attack you. We're
So
gonna,
it's a mixture of like voodoo. Well, and we talked about that. I used to live in Brazil, and there's candomblé, which
yes,
is the Brazilian form of voodoo, right?
right.
Candomblé. And so I had that, and I was also a full contact fighter for many, many years in mixed martial arts. So I say
This
it's just a
lady's a
mix. I
badass.
heard the line in a song. It's called "Voodoo in My Blood" by Massive Attack and Young Fathers. Well, there's a line in that song that says, "Why does the blood stick to your teeth?" And I was like, "That's got to go on my arm." And
Dude, that is awesome.
yeah, so
And you're fourth degree black belt, correct?
I am fourth degree
Holy,
Korean Taekwondo, Korean, and I
so
have an honorary Mudokwan. Yeah.
okay, so like when I make it big, you got to be my bodyguard. I'm
Hmm.
just saying,
I can do that. I'll walk
dude.
around in one of my dominatrix outfits and just like with a stick in my hand, and people will be like, "It's cool, we're good."
I seen your reel where you got your dominatrix boots on, you got the whip hanging. I'm like, wow, like this lady, wow.
No,
But that
I
is awesome.
did a little bit of that. It's fun. It's fun.
And you know,
I like the look.
I try to make commercials, and it's been a while since I made one. And I was going to do a commercial of you. I was going to put on a wig with little ponytails coming out the side, and I was going to do like a karate thing and go "Wah!" and like hurt my hand and oh, but I did not get time, and that's the only bad thing. Like I need to get time to do these because I get these stupid things in my head, and I just like man, like, and that's what this show is supposed to be about is just making
Yeah.
stupid commercials and making people
Yes.
laugh. Hi, Mr. York, how you doing, sir?
I was hi Jeremy. I was making something actually for Jeremy, and I was saying like some things that I cut out and did not include in this thing that I was making for Jeremy are just so weird that it did not belong with what I was sending to him. But I have this whole, I'm dressed with with the tie, and I have the whip thing. Anyway, I'm sitting on this bed in this other room, and I'm filming. And I'm trying to do this like psycho thing where Mr. Pillow is really my pet. And it is, to me, it's freaking hilarious. It's like 5 minutes of me just talking through my psychosis with Mr. Pillow. And my husband's like, you really need, I'm like, I am already in therapy. So I don't know. Maybe you should just give her a call and tell her, have you seen this reel of Robyn talking to a pillow for 5 minutes, really intensely, but I love doing that sort of stuff too. So anytime anybody says like, I've got like a little, can you do this little acting thing or whatever, I'm on it. I'm in it. I did take pretty years of acting through college and even back in high school, all the way to junior high. So I caught the bug and I've never given it up. Yeah.
See, I didn't do any plays, but I was in like theater, where we did a lot of ad lib and this and that. So,
Yes.
and I think that's what helps with my stupid ideas. Um,
Yes. I'm
'cause it
like,
has
"Yes,
to.
stupid ideas. I agree.
Yes,
Improv,
because
right? I did improv for years, and I
yes.
really, really enjoyed that
See,
too.
now I would love to do improv, but I'd have to have somebody good because I'd have to feed off of them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yes, you have to be a generous partner.
Yes,
You have
because
to be
it's
a generous lover.
I no, no, there's no
Just remember the
generous.
words yes, yes, please. You should read Amy Poehler's book called Yes, Please. It's good. It mentions that, but it mentions the
The
improv, all that. But yeah, it's yes, please. So whatever anybody says, you just say yes and so
please,
you add to it. You never say no and go some other direction. You just keep building.
really.
Yeah, yes and move on. It's fun. We should do that now. We'll have to do some improv whenever we investigate together. That'll be great.
Dude, we will definitely have to do that. Scott knows about love. He's the paranormal pimp. I, I don't know about that, man.
Don't
I
turn me
mean,
out, bro. I already got enough jobs.
wait, does that mean I can pimp out ghosts? Because um, that would be awesome. How can I follow Robyn?
Very like this.
Very quietly.
Very quietly.
um,
On your
what?
hands and knees, evidently.
Yeah, you might not want to follow this one. She's a little.
No, I'm on Facebook, just like whatever my name is showing. Robyn Sweetroll Ramsey.
Yep.
Stay good.
Let me put the banner back up. I apologize. There we go. Oh wait, wrong one. There we go.
Yep.
Robyn Sweetroll Ramsey.
So
You
it's
can't miss it.
sweet roll. Everybody thinks that it's drug related. Like, oh, you can roll good joints. I'm
No,
like,
I was thinking like a donut or something.
well, yes, and I like a sweet roll. Like even my ring, like I keep a spiral. Like spirals are
Like
my
a cinnamon
right.
roll.
Right. Well, when
I
I was
didn't.
very young and I walked into the dojo, I like saying
The
like,
dojo.
into the karate school, the instructor, Mr. Kathy, who actually learned his Korean Taekwondo in Korea, and he was in service, he grabbed my belly, right? And he goes, and this is Waco, Texas. Here we go, Waco, Texas. He says, sweetheart, we're going to get rid of some of these sweet rolls. And he did. And so as I progressed through the belts, you earn a fighting name. And so very early, I earned my fighting name, and he's the one that gave me the name Sweet Roll, and it stuck. And so, people think it's all manner of reasons, but it's actually really a fighting name because and then you get your name down the side of your gi pants, right? So I would show up to tournaments, and people were like, "Oh shit, it's Sweet Roll," and I'd be like, "What?"
Dude, no, but that's awesome. Because now you have to learn different did you have to learn different katas to
Yeah, yes.
and see I first started out taking Tang Sudo, and then I went into Gushin Jutsu, which my cousin Dale is a fourth degree black belt and he teaches.
Nice.
And he fucked me up, man. Like I was like his punch dummy, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
And but it was so cool just to learn all the different katas.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't do it now because that was many years ago. But
yeah,
man, like I do miss doing that because that got you in such great shape.
It did, and it's the form, and you can use it for every other part of life. At least I feel you really can, right? It's I definitely see. Look at that, black belts everywhere. We can go to. So I grew up fighting grown men. I was the only female, first of all, and then only young person in this karate school. It was a full contact karate school, so I was also a fun punching bag or whatever. But this is how I go to some of these locations. And like when I was speaking about investigating with Ashley, we were at OSR. And I just went down I had to put up a camera or two. So I just went down solitary by myself, and I was down there and like, you're going down there by yourself. I'm like, unless there is a real man with a giant hand about to knock my teeth out, like I think I can handle. And I think you just become oblivious to that. So yeah, I grew up fist fighting and karate fighting grown men, so now that I'm a little bit older, you got to pull back a little bit and say, like, oh, I don't want to hurt my neck. I would kick your ass, but I don't want to hurt my neck. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but you would still be able to defend yourself. And
And
that's
also just be
awesome.
solid on your own. Yeah, you just
Right.
solid. So
Denise says 2 of her daughters are black belts as
I'm
well.
happy about that. I'm super
That is
happy about
awesome.
that, and also people think I can't.
Can you?
Yes.
How many different
Listen,
languages?
I'm from Austin. We're Renaissance people. I can play guitar. I can speak a couple of languages. Yeah.
Well, like what? Besides maybe Spanish.
Oh, besides maybe, oh gosh, I have been learning Danish. Yeah,
What?
Taylor Dansk. Yes, I do. There's so many. I dabble in several languages because this goes back to the paranormal. The reason I do it is because I feel like some of the spirits that have passed will feel more comfortable speaking in their native language, and
Oh,
we're
absolutely.
speculating like, oh, when you die, everybody knows English.
And
What?
that's one thing I've always brought up. Like, if I was to go overseas, let's say the Netherlands,
Mhm.
how am I going to communicate? Because I
Yes.
don't, I don't, I don't speak Dutch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to have somebody. To me, I would need an interpreter there.
Yes.
It would be like going over to Germany, right, during World War II. Now, I'm not saying uh, they didn't know how to speak English because I'm sure
But
they
once
did
we pass,
some
what are you more comfortable speaking? The
right.
language
It's
you grew
native
up with.
language.
The
Yes.
problem with this is I am fluent in a couple of languages, but not in all the languages. I will study the area and I will find out what common languages or languages that may be spoken in a location. And I like to ask the same 10 questions, not like, how'd you die and are you sad? But the same 10 questions or so in several different languages to see what kind of responses I get.
Right.
The hard part becomes when you get a response, what are they saying? And the main languages that we speak on this planet, you can figure that out. Where I
Yes.
really ran into trouble was I started getting tired of asking questions to people who may have lived in the in the United States, since we invaded the United States and took over native lands, I
Right.
started finding out which tribes were located in the area, not necessarily in that building, or there's not a burial mound. There doesn't have to be for there have to be an activity. So I will find that, and it native languages, indigenous languages are so complicated.
Yes.
I have tried. Every time I walk into Wildwood Sanitarium, Skino Onondaga, hello, bear people of the mountain. That's me. I'm like, it's your good friend. It's your girl. So
Homie.
right, so you can figure this out. It's so difficult that I'm probably still not doing it right. But then you get a response, which I have, and I'm like, uh-oh, now what do? I just got an indigenous
Right.
response, and there's, like everybody here's like, like Eskimos have 50 words for snow. Well, guess what? It's kind of like that. Like the just one slight vowel inflection, tone up or down changes the meaning of a word, right? So I got a response and I researched because I thought this is Seneca. These are Seneca Iroquois responses, and because of the location I was in. Okay, well, I finally gave up on that. I'm like, this is a response. I'm just happy to get it. I knew that they were here. 6 months passes, and I'm going way east, right? Northern northeast United States. So I'm looking more at Cayenne, Kahaka, right? And so the very first thing, this is kismet. Here we go. I'm using all these weird words. I go open the internet, and the first word I see is the word that I had gotten at Wildwood Sanitarium that I thought was Seneca, was really not. And then I started. I said, wait, my brain. I'm like, my brain.
Dang.
So then that opened up more research where I found trade routes. It was perfectly natural for them to be. It's like going up and down the I-90, right? They're going back
Right.
and forth, and they're trading, and they're doing these things. They're not all fighting there because Iroquois have several different tribes, and there's a bear, a turtle, and the other 3 or 4 that I can't remember right now. And so, it was natural for them to move amongst themselves when their languages were slightly different, even though they were all under the same Iroquois umbrella, right?
Dang.
So anyway, I really went off on a tangent there, but my point being, like, the languages, I think it's super important that you try to talk to everybody, because I do not buy, especially the indigenous people. It's a respect thing to just at least acknowledge them. Say, I know that it
Right.
wasn't just Europeans that lived in America, right? They're indigenous.
Right.
And because another thing is that I find it a big load of hooey and crap. It's just complete bullshit when they say there's a Native American here. They're going to curse you, and they're gonna shape shift, and they're gonna follow you around like, what? How did you get
Yeah.
this? How did you come to this conclusion? I think that's BS.
TV.
And if I was indigenous and I was ignored night after night in some of these locations, once again, it's my favorite thing to say, I will push you down the stairs. You know what I mean?
Dude, and that makes absolutely perfect sense. I mean, you know, now I think about you're right. Like when I go to Mississippi, which was part of the 1812 war, you know, like I don't know native language, so you know, I try to communicate with them, but it doesn't do too good for me, you know. But there's also American soldiers that were buried there, so I do try to communicate with them.
Yes.
But man, that makes so much sense. Just trying to learn even a little bit,
just a little,
of the Miami language, just so I could be able to communicate with them.
Yes, so it's
To
an
show
acknowledgement.
a little bit of respect, just you
Yeah.
know, to let them know I'm there to be respectful.
Mhm.
So that makes so much sense, dude.
I,
That is awesome.
Yeah, because I think being ignored for a while, I think you might get upset, or you know, or they have plenty to say as well, even though we won't be able to understand it. So the reason I started learning, I've always been a language aficionado in that sense, like an enthusiast, not an expert. That's why I like to make it clear. I'm an enthusiast, not an expert, because I did grow up in several different countries, and so you kind of had to know the language to get around. And I went to international schools and that sort of thing. There was a lot of different people that I love people.
Right.
I do and I don't. But anyway, I do. But so I got tired of, before I go to investigation, I was like, oh, I better find my Italian friend, and can you say these things and then send them to me, and then I'll send the response. No. And then I said, you know what, why are you not just learning this? Why are you just not learning?
Right.
You know how to do this correctly. And so I got an unlimited Babbel account, and you will find me at any time studying any certain language that I think I'm going to need when I go somewhere. Yeah.
So like, what is your favorite language that you're trying to learn now? Can I ask?
Mm-hmm. It's the Danish. Yep.
The Danish.
Yep. I wholly intend to go to Denmark sooner than later in my life, within the next couple of years. I have a lot of good reasons to go. And as I go there, I'm going to swing around. I'm going to hit Ireland, and I'm going to hit Italy. And that's all my plans right now. But definitely, I feel like I just need to be, something is drawing me up there, and I need to be there. So
okay. That is
amazing. I have a couple of Danish friends, and they laugh. They say, you know, we all know English, right? Like that's part of our school. Like from the time we're very little, we all learn English. And I was just like, that's not the point.
That's not the point. I want to learn your language.
Yes, so you're funny, and I'll speak, and they'll say, your funny little American accent. I was like, do I have an accent? They're like, yes. So it's fun. It's fun too.
And you know, I was thinking about doing Babbel because I would love to learn Latin, you know.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they have, I think they do. It's like 15 or 16 languages. It's not, I feel like it's an excellent investment. I could be their little spokesperson to get the unlimited, because then you can do whatever you want. And it works. Right. I think their methodology works. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen this. Denise said when her daughter was 11, she went to a tournament where she was the only female against 7 11-year-old boys and took first place.
That's all right.
Denise, that is awesome. Hey.
Yes.
Do not underestimate women. I'm just telling you.
No.
Because you never know. I mean, I'm talking to a certified badass right now.
I remember going to a tournament, and I must have been maybe 14 or 15 years old. And what they do is they put you surround the first ones are like taped to the floor, the rings, right? The first, for your first few fights. And I was standing next to this guy, and he says, when I'm done with you, there's going to be nothing left but a grease spot on the floor, or whatever his like instructor had said. And I said, okay.
Sure, sure. Okay. But
And I
yeah,
actually
whatever
got
you say.
disqualified in that fight. I got disqualified in that one because I chased him through several rings. He started running. I'm better at controlling myself now, but he tried to hit me in places I wasn't supposed to be hit. This was Texas. We have AOK rules, right? And that sort of thing.
Hmm.
And he was just rude at first. And I was like, well, you're just rude. And so I started whipping that ass, and he actually took off running. And I went through 2 different rings and had him down. We were wrestling at this point. It was over. Like he was fighting, I was fighting. And I do not advocate that or whatever. And the judge came and grabbed me by the back of the gi and back fisted him. And there was your disqualification. I was probably already going to be disqualified.
Wow.
And that
Right.
qualification. And there's this funny picture that my family has, my mom has it, and my brothers are standing there and they're holding these trophies. And I'm just standing there in the middle, and my cheeks are like bright red, like someone like a doll, because I had just been pulled out of the phone out. Don't tell me you make a grease spot out of me. You can just say, "Oh, I'm excited. It looks like we're going to be paired up to fight."
Right.
Sure. Well, we're going to do this the right way, but don't threaten me.
Yeah, dude. Don't belittle me because I'm gonna
Yeah.
whip that ass.
Yeah.
So your brothers did it too, huh?
They did it
So
before me. I'm the youngest, and that's the reason I went in, was because they were coming home and practicing on me. They were about 3 months ahead of me. And I
wow.
said, Mom, I have got to go do this because I'm getting my ass kicked. They were like, oh, let me see. Yeah, so yeah.
Dude,
So I grew up, like I said, fighting grown men and my 2 older brothers. So
dude, yeah, I remember coming home and I wanted to show my dad this grab where they grabbed you and you went like this and took their arm and you come back with the elbow.
oh yeah.
Oh my God. I caught my dad in the face, gave him a black eye, dude. And my dad was Italian. I'm like, yeah, I thought I was dead. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, I'm so sorry. Cause he's a don't you hit me. No, I didn't hit you. I elbowed you. And
I know, it was a complete accident, right?
it was a complete accident. I was just like, oh my gosh. Hi, Carla Backus. You know Carla Backus?
I don't, but I think I should.
Hi, Carla. Very awesome. Thank you for stopping in. Absolutely appreciate you. So, you got an investigation coming up anywhere? Anything? Come on.
Mostly filming.
What are you filming?
One of it, I love it because it's like one of them is like a really big secret, right? And I love, like, we haven't announced it yet, but it's people that used to work together and then they didn't, and now they're going to again. And I'm going to be part of that, and I'm very, very excited about it. The quality people. So I'm just like, you've met me, right? Like, you really want to work with me? Are you sure?
Dude, that's going to be so awesome now.
That and yeah, I have a couple of shows. I have my own show called Anima Una, which I've already filmed 2 episodes of. And Anima Una is Latin. There we go. Your first words in Latin for one soul. And so basically it's going to locations completely alone. And yes, I've been warned about the dangers and such. The biggest danger is me forgetting snacks. Oh, no.
Right. Yes.
So that show I've already filmed 2 episodes of, but my main issue with that is I'm going to need an editor because I can't do some of it, but that's beside the point. Like, if anybody's interested in editing a 30-minute show. Anyway, so I've got more places lined up for that. Super excited. And once again, I drive there. I film the whole thing by myself, which really it's a bad plan because I have to do all the work. But it's very exciting to be in places completely alone. Right?
It is.
So it is very exciting and paired with extremely boring too. And then when you're editing, you're like, oh my God, I talk a lot. I don't like my voice. But anyway, so yeah, I have some great stuff coming up, and hopefully I'm going to go to New Orleans for this fantastic thing called Fear Fest in late October.
Yeah. I heard they got this guy there, a little short midget guy. I heard he's
hilarious.
I heard he's going to have a kilt on. Now, I could be wrong, but I heard he's going to wear his kilt. So,
Like that's
hot. Dude, it's going to be so amazing, dude. I want to catch an alligator. Yeah, no, they're going to help me catch an alligator.
Oh, okay, you're really going to do that. I thought it was some sort of like thing where you look down at yourself and you go, oh shit, I caught an alligator. while I was in
No,
Florida.
that. Oh shit! I caught a gnat. I mean, an alligator. No, dude, it's gonna be so amazing. Dude, that is, dude, you're so amazing. I hope you know that. Like,
I
I'm
appreciate you
thankful
saying that. I'm like, oh
that
no.
night that we interviewed John and you jumped on and stuff. I was so happy to be able to meet you because we're sitting there and we put our wigs on, dude, and that was so cool.
Yes,
And
it was great that we both had wigs at hand, like
yes,
several.
like, like it was meant for us to meet each other and just feed off of each other. And
Well, I've always really had a fondness for you, and you have supported me in personal ways
always.
that I will never forget. And of course, you're hilarious, and I love you very much. And I know that we're going to get to investigate together or whatever at sometime. Go to like Fear Fest or something like that. We will be in the same room.
Now because you're in New York, right?
Yes, I am upstate.
I will come up to New York, but I'm not coming up there when it's snowing. I'm just saying because I've seen some of the snow you get up there. I ain't about that. I got to deal with my own snow here.
Yeah,
You know, I plow snow here in Indiana. I don't want to try and plow snow.
Well, you get it too. Yeah. Well, it sucks
You
everywhere.
get it more than we do.
Yeah, we do. We do. I think we do.
You get like 2 feet, right?
You can. Oh yeah, yeah. I've walked outside and fell off the porch and like hip deep before and went, oh, I'm gonna go back inside.
2 feet of snow. That's almost half my height.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. Yep, I'd be looking like this. Ooh.
Just throw him a snorkel.
Yeah, I'd be like the little boy on Christmas Story, and he's out like that. That are the dumb kid that puts his tongue against the pole. Yep, that would be me. That is me. God. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on tonight. It's nuts ain't Kentucky.
Yeah.
Dude, Kentucky weather gets crazy just as much as Indiana does. I'm sorry, but y'all keep that the worst weather, like the tornadoes. You can keep them down that way. We get pretty lucky up here. We don't get tornadoes where I'm at, which I'm glad. Of course, we get a little bit of snow, but thank you so much for coming on and being my guest. I'm truly honored to have such an amazing person on here tonight. And anytime you want to come back and be on my show, you let me know.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. No.
Heck yeah. Well, I actually got what is small? Oh, I could. But anytime you want to, I don't know, we can find a guest and we'll co-host together. I'll hit that up, man.
I appreciate that offer, and I'll come back anytime you want. Yeah, I like it. It's a lot of fun, and you're fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for stopping in tonight and seeing the show. If you haven't seen it all, please feel free to go back and rewatch. You can also follow me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and here on Facebook. I think I'm on Facebook. Actually, I think I'm on all of them, actually. But yes, please feel free to give me a like, a comment, F you, F me, F both of us. It don't matter. And just remember, and please remember, if you are not laughing, you are not living. So I hope everybody has a great week. Be safe, be kind, and be generous. Have a good night, everybody. Wait a minute. You all want me on the show. I forewarned you guys. I'm just saying.
We don't need no sleep because the party don't stop. So put your